Last year, Atlantic City's 13 casinos raked in $3.7 billion, more money than the 40 big casinos on the Las Vegas Strip. So you'd think that today, with all that money and after New Jersey voters first approved gambling, that little Atlantic City would be a pretty good place to live. Think again. Huff Royal, a longtime community leader in Atlantic City who died just a week ago, told us last summer that gambling is just fine if you happen to be a casino.
The projection that was made when the gambling idea was being sold, Atlantic City exceeded that by almost 1,000%. They had no idea that gambling would be this successful.
20 years ago, before gambling came here, what was Atlantic City like?
Atlantic City was a necropolis, a city of the dead, a dead city.
It was once known as the Queen of Resorts, a summer watering place for the East Coast gentry that after the 1930s went quickly to seed. Gambling, so the pitch went, would restore the Boardwalk's luster, put Atlantic City back on the nation's monopoly board.
The expectations at that time were that this was the savior of Atlantic City, that the streets would be painted and paved with gold, that everybody would be living good, everybody would be making a lot of money, everybody would be happy.
They got it partly right. The casinos are surely happy, but the business district has gone belly up. No streets of gold, just seedy pawn shops catering to tapped-out gamblers. The casinos are designed to keep people indoors, in their restaurants, their clothing stores, their in-room movies, and mostly at their tables. The 33 million annual visitors are mainly retired day trippers bused straight to the hotel in the morning and straight home at night. Atlantic City is a mecca for gamblers, but a disaster area if you live there. The population is 37,000 and falling. The majority remaining are black and poor. But casinos aren't in the business of solving social problems. Politicians are supposed to do that. But over the years, they became more enchanted with the big picture, with the imposing skyline, than the up-close details of life in Atlantic City. Who really runs things in Atlantic City?
I think it's a partnership
Between?
State of New Jersey and casino operators. At one time, we had a military-industrial complex that was alleged to rule the world. In Atlantic City, we have a state casino complex that runs Atlantic City.
For the state, Atlantic City has been a benevolent cash cow, $6.5 billion in taxes over the past 2 decades. It did give Atlantic City hundreds of millions. Just where it went is a puzzlement. We do know that 4 of the last 7 mayors have been indicted while in office. The present city government, however, boasts that things are changing and points with pride to, of all things, a supermarket. Mayor Jim Whalen. When gambling came here, there was a dying downtown business district. Now that gambling's been here for 20 years, there's a dead downtown business district.
No, that's not true. Not true.
Well, it's pretty barren out there.
Well, first off, all of Atlantic City would be dead if gambling wasn't here, okay? And secondly, we just talked about a supermarket that opening up on Atlantic Avenue.
20 years.
Well,
20 years to get
I'll
a
take
supermarket.
responsibility for the last 6, okay? That's
6 years that have finally seen a surge in development. A $5 million supermarket for local residents, a new $250 million convention center for out-of-towners. Much of the redevelopment is driven by fear that some other city, state, or Indian tribe will entice gamblers away from Atlantic City. So Atlantic City is upping the ante with plans to turn itself into a so-called destination resort where people will come and stay and play for a week or more. And looming over the boardwalk is a fairy godfather who says he has the magic to make such dreams come true. Steve Wynn and the Mirage Corporation of Las Vegas. Wynn is the wizard who brought volcanoes and pirate ships and all the fun of the fair to Vegas. Atlantic City needs that kind of excess too, according to the man known as gambling's best friend in the legislature, State Senator Bill Gormley. How important is the Mirage deal to Atlantic City?
If someone were to say to anybody that they want to bring into their district 4,000 hotel rooms, create over 20,000 jobs, generate income of $197 million in local property taxes and state taxes, and salaries to constituents of yours of $489 million a year. Morley, I think you'd say that's something you'd want to see in your district, and I'd like to see that in my district.
Not everyone who lives there feels that way.
I may live in the projects, but I have principles and I have morals, and I will stop this, and I will fight this.
The fight is over the deal the mayor and city council made to get Steve Wynn to come to town. The deal, 150 acres that used to be the old city garbage dump, just a mile from the boardwalk. The price, $0. Repeat, $0. There is a hitch. There's no easy way to get there. So Steve Wynn wants a 4-lane tunnel. It would go through Atlantic City's only stable, middle-class black neighborhood.
You'll not get our land, and you'll not give away our land.
The council voted 6-3 in Wynn's favor. While he wouldn't be interviewed on camera for this story, Wynn was eager to address the council after the vote.
There is going to be a remarkable renaissance here in Atlantic City, and you are all going to be very excited and delighted by what happens. Great opportunity to do good things.
Not so great if you're Donald Trump, owner of 4 existing casinos. I watched Steve Wynn at a council meeting give a very moving, a very touching disquisition on his dreams and his plans.
Did you cry?
The benign...
Did you break down and cry?
Not quite, no.
Yeah.
He also didn't stay around to answer questions.
Well, he can't answer the questions. There's no question he can answer. But he'll give his little sermon and do his little thing.
Not so little. It means big competition for Trump, who's crying foul over Wynn getting what he says is a free ride into town.
There's a current mayor who's giving away one of the best pieces of land in Atlantic City for nothing when it's worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Why he's doing it, I have absolutely no idea. Either it's gross incompetence or it's a different problem.
Why did Mirage get the land for free? It seems like the sweetheart deal of all time.
We went out through a public process and said, here's this land. Sent literally hundreds of requests out to developers. We got 2 responses.
One from Trump proposing a golf course if the city shelled out the tens of millions of dollars it would take to clean up the dump. Wynn offered to pay for the cleanup if they let him put up a casino complex. The city council bit and gave the land to Wynn, not knowing, according to Councilman Lorenzo Langford, that an environmental bill was in the works in the state legislature that would make Wynn's deal even sweeter.
Right after the city of Atlantic City selected Mirage as the developer, our county senator, Mr. Gormley, proposed a bill in the state legislature, which was fast-tracked, that would refund the developer the cost of cleaning up that landfill. I don't think that's a coincidence.
Did Wynn or any of his people discuss the cleanup bill with you?
I told them after I announced the bill. It was solely my idea. They never asked me to put it in.
Gormley says the city dump is just one of 300 cleanup sites all across the state that are part of his bill. But if developers had known about it beforehand, Langford argues, more might have stepped forward and wanted that dump.
And some of them would have been willing to pay for the land, which I believe would have caused Mr. Wynn to say, hey, maybe I should offer something for it too if I really want to come to Atlantic City.
How much do you think that land's worth?
I know it's worth more than $0, which is currently what he got it for.
And the deal gets even sweeter. Wynn has the right to lease some of the land he got for nothing to other casinos. That's what his friend Merv Griffin did a few years ago, when he bought some city land for $5 million, then leased just a part of it to Showboat Casino for $6 million a year for 99 years. What's to stop Steve Wynn from doing what was done before?
I hope he makes a huge profit. That's why they come. They don't come. Steve Wynn, as good as he is not coming here to be the, he's not coming here to cure cancer. He's coming here to make money.
A lot of money. Other Las Vegas companies like Circus Circus and MGM Grand want to come too. That would nearly double the tables and slots. But Donald Trump says he has no fear. He has plenty of bravado.
I want Mirage to come in. I will beat Mirage as badly as I beat Steve Wynn individually in golf. I mean, I want Mirage to come in. I really want him to come in.
And you want to whip him.
And I want to beat him, yeah, and I will.
The Donald Trumps of the world and the Steve Wynns, it's a battle of the titans, and we are simple pawns.
Some of the pawns live on Horace Bryant Drive, the site of that 4-lane tunnel. It would go from the new convention center and end up close to Steve Wynn's front door at the new Mirage Hotel. But before excavation even started, they'd have to destroy 9 homes where these people have lived most of their lives.
I have $1 million worth of labor, work, hardship, and financial difficulties in my home. I developed the land because that's where I wanted to live and die.
5 of the 9 homeowners don't want to move and are suing to block the plan. They say the tunnel will destroy the entire community of tidy homes and manicured lawns. Wynn says only a few homes will suffer that fate. As for the rest,
in order to make sure that it stayed to be a fine neighborhood, we had to drop down, go under that neighborhood, not disturb it, and come back up after we were past that neighborhood.
Steve Wynn spoke to the residents straight from the heart.
Excited as I am, I would not be able to enjoy 1 second of it if I thought that at the end of the day, I wouldn't be able to look the people in that neighborhood in the eye, and they wouldn't say to me, "It worked out great. We were wrong. It's going to be fine."
What does he mean? How's he going to help us? Bring the tunnel through and we go helter-skelter wherever we can go?
Mirage has offered to buy Tilly Peterson's home for $200,000, twice its market value. She's not selling, but the man from Mirage keeps trying.
He said, well, suppose I offer you a certain sum of money. I said, your $200,000 wouldn't even begin to cover. So he said, how much would you like to have? I said, $1 million. He said, oh, well, Miss Peterson, I don't think we can give you $1 million, but we can negotiate. Talk to me.
Well, there are those who would say that you're just holding out for more money.
Not true. We aren't holding out for more money, no.
You're not holding out for more money.
We're holding out because we want our homes.
If you're going to make improvements, you can't hold yourself to a standard that we're never going to dislocate anybody. It's impossible.
The city fathers feared that if Steve Wynn didn't get his way, he might just take his chips and go home, something Donald Trump thought was highly unlikely.
He will be there. As sure as you're sitting here, he will be in Atlantic City because the numbers say he has to be there.
And what, the tunnel's just icing on the cake?
He can get it because some politician says, here, Steve, take the tunnel, because some stupid politician says, do it. If the mayor of Atlantic City, who's got some major problems, if this guy says, oh, gee, we gave you free land, you want a tunnel also? Why wouldn't he take it? Take it. I would tell him, take it, Steve. It's great.
And Steve took it. Last July, New Jersey Governor Christie Whitman gave Wynn his tunnel. But he has to put up about $55 million of the $330 million needed to build it. Not free, but not bad. And guess what? Donald Trump does not walk away empty-handed. He'll get $75 million in road improvements that will give better access to his properties. A little something for everyone, except for those residents near Horace Bryant Drive. They've got to go to court.